In a village baked dry by the sun, where the earth cracked like old pottery, lived a young farmer named Ilara. While others saw only dust and despair, Ilara saw a promise. Every morning, she'd walk through her withered fields, tilt her head back, and talk to the vast, empty sky. She wasn't praying for rain, not exactly. She was having a conversation. She'd tell the sky about the stubborn little sprout that refused to give up, or the funny way the chickens chased grasshoppers. The other villagers would watch her, shaking their heads. "Poor Ilara," they'd whisper. "The heat has gotten to her." As weeks turned into months, the drought tightened its grip. The village well ran low, and the once green fields turned to shades of brown and gray. Hope began to wither just like the crops. Faces grew long, and the cheerful market square fell silent. People gathered in worried huddles, their conversations filled with talk of leaving, of giving up the land their families had worked for generations. But not Ilara. Her daily ritual continued. She walked her dusty patch of land, her voice a soft, steady thread in the heavy silence. She told the sky about her fears, how her heart ached for her neighbors. She shared her dreams of a harvest so big they'd need every basket in the village, of laughter echoing through the fields once more. One sweltering afternoon, as Ilara was describing the taste of a perfectly ripe tomato to the cloudless blue, something shifted. A gentle breeze, cool and soft, whispered past her ear. It wasn't the usual hot, dusty wind. This one felt different, alive. It seemed to tug at her sleeve, pulling her towards the rocky hills that bordered the village. Intrigued, Ilara followed. The wind danced ahead of her, rustling through dried bushes and swirling around ancient stones as if leading the way. It guided her into a small, hidden ravine she'd never noticed before, a place concealed by overgrown vines and shadows. And there, tucked away behind a curtain of moss, was a miracle. A tiny trickle of water, clear and cold, seeped from a crack in the rock, pooling into a small, pristine spring. Ilara's heart soared. She ran back to the village, her feet barely touching the ground. "I found it! I found water!" she shouted, her voice ringing with pure joy. At first, the villagers were skeptical, but there was a light in Ilara's eyes they couldn't ignore, a conviction that was contagious. Led by the village elder, they followed her back to the hidden ravine. Seeing the spring with their own eyes was like seeing the sunrise after a long night. A spark of hope ignited, inspired by Ilara's unwavering faith. The despair that had paralyzed them melted away. They started to work. Men, women, and even children joined in, digging channels with renewed strength. They worked side by side, their shared purpose turning them from a collection of desperate individuals back into a community. They carved a path for the water, guiding it from the hidden spring down towards their thirsty fields. Slowly, life returned. The water from the spring breathed new life into the parched earth. Tiny green shoots began to push their way through the soil. The villagers, seeing this small victory, worked even harder. Then, one evening, as the first channel reached the main field, the sky began to change. The endless blue was replaced by a soft, bruised purple. A single fat drop of rain landed on Ilara's cheek. Then another, and another. Soon, a gentle, steady rain began to fall, washing the dust from the leaves and soaking deep into the grateful soil. The villagers stood in the downpour, faces turned to the sky, tears of joy mixing with the rain. It was as if the sky, having listened to Ilara all this time, was finally answering. Months later, the village was transformed. The fields were a tapestry of vibrant green and gold. The harvest was more bountiful than anyone could remember. The air was filled with the sounds of celebration, of music and laughter. During the harvest festival, the village elders stood before everyone. He looked at Ilara, who was laughing with her friends. "We were ready to give up," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "But Ilara taught us to keep talking to the sky, to keep hope alive even when we can't see it. She showed us that faith is not just about waiting for a miracle, but about working together to create one." Ilara just smiled, looking up at the clear, friendly sky, and gave it a silent, grateful nod. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.